Welcome to Rich Tribe. Let me ask you a very real question. You're putting in 50, maybe 60 hours a week. You're grinding, you're hustling, doing everything right, and yet, at the end of the month, you feel like you are barely treading water. Why is it that working harder than ever before isn't making you rich? Today, I'm speaking to you directly, millionaire to future millionaire, to completely pull back the curtain on how wealth is actually built. We're going to dive deep into a massive game changer known as the 843 Wealth Acceleration Rule. Now, I can already hear you challenging me on this. You're probably thinking, hold on a second, it's easy to talk about building wealth when you already have it. How is the average guy supposed to get ahead today? And you're not wrong. Wages have been practically stagnant for years, while your rent, groceries, and basic living expenses are sky high. Honestly, it feels like the entire system is rigged against anyone trying to start from absolute zero. Section 1. The Hard Work Trap. You feel like the system is rigged because you are currently caught in what we call the productivity trap. Think about it. Technology was supposed to make our work easier, right? But instead, it just made us permanently available. You're producing way more per hour than you used to, but that extra profit, it flows straight upward to shareholders and executives, not into your paycheck. Plain and simple effort has been replaced by positioning. You really have to understand the difference between wage labor and leverage. Wage labor is entirely linear. You are literally trading your finite time for money until exhaustion kicks in. Two people can work equally hard, but the difference in their bank accounts isn't about effort, it's about leverage. Real wealth is built through ownership, capital, and scale. The people actually getting ahead aren't working more hours. They are building assets that grow completely independently of their personal time. Section 2. Introducing the 843 Rule. So, the big question. How do you actually shift from relying on weekly wages to using this leverage, especially if you don't have some massive inheritance waiting for you? Use the absolute mathematical magic of compounding. And to really grasp compounding, you first need a mental shortcut called the Rule of 72. This simple rule forecasts exactly how long it takes for your money to double. You just take the number 72 and divide it by your expected annual rate of return. Say you invest your money in an index fund, getting a 10% annual return. You divide 72 by 10, which gives you 7.2. That means every 7.2 years, your investment doubles in value without you lifting a single finger. Have 100 grand? Boom, it becomes 200 grand. This math right here is the foundation of turning your capital into a literal machine. Section 3, the 3 phases of compounding. Okay, so the math sounds super cool in a textbook, but I know you want to know what this looks like in the real world. Let's look at a 15-year wealth accumulation timeline using the 843 rule. Imagine you invest just $500 a month into an index fund returning that 10%. This perfectly visualizes how your money snowballs. The journey breaks down into 3 very distinct phases. 8 years to lay the foundation, 4 years to pick up the pace, and 3 years for rapid, explosive expansion. Let's break those steps down with our $500 a month example. In step 1, the first 8 years, it's going to feel slow. You've invested $48,000 of your own hard-earned money, and with steady growth, it's sitting at about $72,000. It's steady, sure, but you aren't exactly a millionaire yet. And here's the kicker. This is where most people quit because they don't see immediate riches, but you are packing the snowball. In step 2, the next 4 years, compounding really kicks into gear. In just half the time of phase 1, your money duplicates your earlier gains, pushing your portfolio well over $130,000. Then comes step 3, the final 3 years, the explosion. By years 13, 14, and 15, the accumulated returns generate massive new earnings. Your portfolio is literally making more money in growth alone in these 3 years than the total amount you saved in the entire first 8 years. That is the true power of exponential leverage. Section 4, Fueling the Wealth Engine. Now, you might be throwing your hands up saying, I'm practically broke, living paycheck to paycheck. How on earth do I find the initial cash to start fueling this 15-year compounding engine? It all comes down to adopting rich habits, right now, no matter what your current income is. First, you must save 10 to 20% of your income. If that sounds absolutely impossible, just start with 1% this month. Put it away before you pay a single bill and slowly scale it up. Second, buy value, not price. People who stay broke buy based on the lowest price tag. Self-made millionaires buy based on long-term value. Third, practice the 40-plus formula. You work 40 hours a week for your survival, but every single hour over 40 is an investment in your success, whether that's building a side business or learning a high-income skill. Did you know over 88% of millionaires read every single day? You absolutely have to become more valuable to the marketplace. And crucially, you have to guard your life against Parkinson's law. This law states that expenses always rise to meet income. Think about it. This is exactly why getting that raise last year didn't actually result in any more savings for you, did it? You probably just bought a nicer car or moved to a slightly bigger apartment. Without extreme discipline, lifestyle creep eats every extra dollar you make. You have to decouple your spending from your earning. Live on last year's salary and invest the difference. That difference is the fuel for your 843 machine.
Section 5, keeping your money machine running.
Let's say 15 years pass. You've kept your head down, you've avoided lifestyle creep, and you've successfully built this wealth machine. What happens next? How do you actually transition to living off this wealth without accidentally bleeding it dry and going broke all over again? Because believe me, getting rich is entirely different from staying rich. Your ultimate goal is total financial freedom, where your passive investment income entirely exceeds your living expenses. I'm going to show you the exact data breakdown on how to withdraw your money safely. But first, to make sure you never miss out on these wealth building strategies, subscribe to Rich Tribe channel, like, comment, and share. We are building a community of people dedicated to escaping the wage trap.
So let's look at how you keep your machine running for the long haul. Traditionally, financial planners use something called the 4% rule, meaning you can withdraw 4% of your portfolio in year 1, adjust for inflation every year after, and your money should safely last 30 years. But if you're following the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early, a 30-year horizon just isn't going to cut it. You might need this money to last 50 years. That's exactly why institutions like Vanguard recommend dynamic spending. Instead of blindly taking out 4% plus inflation regardless of what the economy is doing, you implement flexible ceilings and floors. In great market years, you allow yourself to withdraw a bit more. But when the market drops, your dynamic roll cuts back your spending slightly so you don't drain your principal when assets are cheap. You adapt to the market to ensure your portfolio survives for half a century. Once you see this math, everything changes. You realize you've probably spent your whole life trying to figure out how to squeeze out a few more dollars in wages when you should have been focused on building a machine that pays you regardless of whether you clock in or not. Surviving is trading time for a paycheck. Compounding is trading short-term discipline for a lifetime of total freedom. The 843 rule proves that the beginning is going to be tough, but the end will be explosive. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on today. Look closely at your daily habits. Look at exactly where your money is going, and ask yourself honestly, are you just building wages, or are you building a machine? The choice is entirely yours.